Hey everybody, it's Friday, September 4th, and it's good to be with you today. You might hear some banging and stuff in the background. There's a little bit of construction going on here at the church. We've got some beautiful things happening. When you show up, you're going to be surprised and happy. So, today I want to talk with Heather, who is Heather Donald, who's on staff with us here, and she works with our Mercy Connect ministry. And Mercy Connect is charged to reach out and build relationships with people in crisis, people in need. And it's part of our mission statement. It's part of who we are as a church. And you, in your generous giving, have made it possible for great things to happen. So I want to talk to Heather a little bit about that and hear about some of the good things that are going on in Mercy Connect. Let's go to Heather now. Hey, good morning, Heather. How are you this morning?
I'm just peachy, Tim. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, listen, I'm so glad you could spend some time with me today and with our people, just talking about Mercy Connect. You know, in our mission statement, there's a couple statements. One is we are compassionate to those in need, and we're filled with generosity, with irrational generosity. And boy, we've been seeing that happen. There's been resources coming in from people giving so generously of their money and their time, and great things are happening.
Yes.
There's lots of connections happening in Mercy Connect. Is that right?
Yes, there are. Yeah, and we're seeing growing connections, more frequent connections, and connections that stick. And so we're able to speak more into people's lives, which is really exciting. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah, and I know that we want to protect people's privacy. I wish we could tell some of the stories that you and I get to see, and you get to see more of them than me. But I wish we could just tell these stories, but we want to protect people's privacy.
Absolutely.
But I think it's fair to say that there have been some that have been in dangerous situations that have been moved to safety. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. For a variety of reasons. It could be domestic abuse. It could be a drug problem. It could be somebody considering suicide. A variety of things. Kids that are struggling, something's happened at home and they just need a safe place for a few minutes and to talk to somebody. And so, yeah, we're very blessed to be right where we are and accessible for folk to reach out to us when they're having a tough time. And then we can hear their story, listen to them, and make sure that they get the help that they need, whatever that looks like. Yeah.
There's a story recently of a person who needed to get into some treatment center, and it was going to be like a long time, right, for them to get in. You said sometimes the wait could be 4 to 6 months.
Right.
But God just used you to do a little bit of magic, and what happened in that story?
I met this wonderful gentleman who wanted to go into a recovery program, but couldn't get into anything for 4 to 6 months. Those programs are generally speaking in high demand, especially since COVID. A lot of people who have previously been recovered during this time of isolation and stress, for whatever reason, have relapsed. And some people, this is their first time hitting a roadblock like that.
Right.
So those programs are in high demand, and not only that, what we've learned is that programs with that take the longest have the highest, the lowest recidivist rate, so the highest success. And the reason for that is if you're only in a program for 15 days, that's not long enough to build new habits.
Right.
And so the recovery rate for those is generally very low. However, we managed to get this gentleman into a longer program that is very highly spoken of. And he got a slot because of his willingness and his desire to change. I think largely was it. He got a slot and in less than 10 days.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's absolutely amazing. So he didn't lose that traction of wanting to make that change. So it was wonderful. The timing was perfect.
So, I mean, this is kind of a little bit what Mercy Connect does. And sometimes we're meeting physical needs, sometimes we're meeting financial needs, but it's more than that too, right? There's just like you said, people coming in just for a listening ear.
Mhm. Right, and a lot of people that come in, they're having a bad day, they're having a bad week or a bad month, or something's happened, and to them, and we've all faced these things. The folk that come to us are not unique. We're human too. They've hit a brick wall and they can't see the wood for the trees. And yeah, they know what their initial problem is, they think, but they just don't know where to go from there or how to navigate that. And so we've got a lot of people don't realize that we've got a lot of incredible agencies and resources in Sylvan Lake, and we can supplement that with some stuff in Red Deer. But we have a new coalition actually in Sylvan Lake of those helping agencies, which include us, and FCSS and community partners and psychologists and all sorts of different things, and recovery and that sort of thing. And so what we do is we try to, now with this new coalition, which we are learning to work better together and limit the overlap, and getting people to the best resource. And when somebody comes in the door, they may think they've got one problem, but actually it might be a small myriad of other problems that are all interconnected. And so we need to deal with the whole package holistically. And so we limit the overlap as much as possible so we can all work on what we're really strong at, what we're really good at, and then refer to our friends in this coalition who do maybe something better. And that's much more efficient, and it's more efficient for the person that comes to us too, because they don't have to go around 4 doors, knocking on 4 doors, trying to find help, and then find out all 4 doors were essentially the same thing.
Right. And when someone's in crisis, they don't necessarily, they don't know what all the resources are. They just know they're in trouble. And so they think, if I can just go to one place, what's in church, maybe that's a place that they go, I think you can get help at church. And then they come here and they find someone like you who's done the research, who's got things planned out, and the coalition, and you guys are working together, and they're just in good hands when they show up. All they have to worry about now is their crisis. They don't have to worry about all the solutions, because you guys are helping them find those solutions.
Right, and we're not going to exhaust them by sending them here, there, and everywhere, and getting the same answer. So we can try and focus on the issue and get them the best resources as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. And I think that's a huge thing. When people are in crisis, and we know that ourselves, we're kind of mentally and physically exhausted.
Yep.
And so somebody listening and hearing, which are 2 different things, as you know, and then focusing the energy in the right places can take like a huge weight off people's shoulders. Yeah. And
speaking of resourcing, you're instrumental in bringing in a suicide prevention course here to ACC.
Right. And that is courtesy of one of the workers at FCSS, who is a facilitator for an Alberta Health Services suicide prevention course. When COVID started, AHS started to see suicide numbers go up in youth and adults, for a number of reasons we can all figure out. But it was so severe that they decided they had to do something. They had to pull a rabbit out of a hat somehow. So they put together this course and have facilitators in different communities. And we're so blessed to have one of those facilitators here in town. And she is going to deliver that to the staff here in September so that we learn more about suicide and what are some of the things to watch for and listen for somebody who is contemplating that. Now, this course was originally geared towards youth because that was one of the numbers that spiked. Yeah. But it's useful for everybody. And so as a staff, we're going to go through that course, and then we're going to open it up to our youth and the town youth. And this facilitator is already working on that. Pardon me and is already been delivering it to a couple of the schools in town, and including some of the high school kids. So that's expanding. We don't know what that's going to look like in September, but hopefully it can be a fairly broad-based thing. So the staff are going to do it. Then we're going to open it up to youth and make sure they get plugged into it, whether they've ever felt like that or not, because it's for everybody. It's not just for people who have thought about suicide at some point. We all need to be aware of what people say and body language and that are triggers in our minds. And let's take a parent, for example, or a Sunday school teacher, and somebody says something, and if you don't understand really what suicide looks like or thinking about suicide looks like, you may brush that comment off and it may mean nothing. But if we understand what that looks like, then the antenna will go up, and then we can engage that person and get them the resources that they need. And so I think this course is amazing. It's great for adults, parents, teachers, the youth that it was primarily designed for, and everybody. And so we're going to test drive it as a staff, and then we're going to open it up. And I think it's going to be a tremendous course for us all.
Well, that's great. And I love the how you're leading the Mercy Connect. I know there are people that want to get involved and are involved. And so I want to thank people for their generous giving.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank people for praying. You can pray for Heather. You can pray for the Mercy Connect ministry, for the people that come in our doors. But you can also serve. And what kind of people are you looking for?
Well, a variety of things. We're looking for somebody who's good at software, because that's not me. But that's on the hard skill side, which is very important. But mostly we're looking for people who just love people and who have life experience and are willing to share that and are good listeners and good hearers, and people who are willing to spend a little bit of time, share some of their time with a 6-foot coffee or a walk or a phone call once in a while just to check in. And that may not sound like much, but to a person who is feeling alone or isolated or sad, those are huge. Yeah. And I get phone calls all the time from people who say, "Oh, I was so glad that that person phoned me, or that you phoned me, or whatever. Thank you so much for checking in." And those things, those little wee touches, can carry a person for a week or a month. Yeah. And so they're just huge. And that's what we're really about, is connecting people, because we're all in this together.
Yep, we're all in this.
Exactly. So we just want to share. And if people need a friend to come alongside them, then we want to be that. Yep.
Cool. Well, thanks, Heather. Thanks for leading the charge. And just appreciate you and continue to pray for you. And we're so glad that you're here and that you have such a huge heart for people. So I'll let you get back at it. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
God bless you.
Thanks. God bless.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oh, that's fantastic. Heather is such a fireball, and she's got so much energy and drive and love for people in need, and she is just extraordinary. And if you'd like to work with her in that ministry, you would love it. Man, she'd just light you up, and you'd be doing great things together. She really cares, and Mercy Connect is a ministry that really cares as well. It's an extension of ACC, and it's who we are and what we want to do. And so if you'd like to be a part of that, make sure you contact Heather. And you can reach her here at the church through the office, or Heather at alliancecommunitychurch.ca. And we'd love to have you connect with us to serve people who are in need. We never know when we're going to be in need. There's a verse in Ecclesiastes that says, "As fish are caught in a cruel net, and birds are taken in a snare, so people are trapped by evil times that fall unexpectedly on them." And so we never know when something bad might happen to us. And so these are people just like us who've fallen on hard times, and we want to be a blessing to them. So I'm grateful for you. Thanks so much for partnering with the church, and your giving and your praying and your serving. And we just couldn't do it without you.